Well, hello everyone.
Hello, I forgot. I probably need to put this close to
You
me.
probably should.
Okay.
I'm loving this, by the way, because it looks like Jesus is going into the sky with the light behind him.
It does.
All right. So I'm Lindsay,
I'm Kimberly.
and it's nice to have you join us today on our Shioa live stream.
We probably should tell them what Shioa means.
Maybe.
It all started about a year ago, and
Yeah, year ago.
and it was like, hey, girl, we need to hold each other accountable in life and all the things. And
Everything.
so we came up with sisters holding each other accountable. We're not sisters by blood, but we are best friend sisters, just ladies doing life together. So that's how our name came about. So if you're wondering what in the world is Shioa, you could Google it and it will take you to shoes because it's the closest thing. So,
and it will. And we love shoes. Nothing wrong with
yeah,
shoes. I mean, gotta have them.
Anyway,
So we began this journey actually on Facebook Lives, and we were holding those with our ladies that we have in our group there. And so we were like, we've got to find another platform to do this on. I mean, everybody's on YouTube and we get that, but we felt like this would be a great platform and an opportunity for us to share what's on our heart and the things that we go through as mothers, as married women, as people who are in the workforce. You know, Kimberly's a teacher and I work in the banking industry under consulting. And so there's just a lot that happens in our lives every day, and we share and uplift each other. And we want to do the same for you guys. Would you agree?
Yes.
What else you got to add to that?
I think it's so cool because we're imperfect.
Yeah.
There's not one thing perfect about either of us, and we're silly and goofy, and we understand we're not for everyone. And so we understand there's going to be people that come on here that think we're goofy, and it might. And there's going to be people that think, oh my gosh, who are these random people on YouTube? And that's fine too.
Right.
We're not we're no names, I guess, if you'd say, but I mean, we know each other and we know some people that will be joining in. So that's fun.
Yes.
And I think it's just going to be interesting to see how many people really just need somebody to talk to and somebody to be real and authentic with, and perhaps just need somebody to hold them accountable in life and walk alongside them. So
I think that's really good. So in all of this, we were creating this platform, and as soon as we got done creating in YouTube, as many of you out there who have YouTube accounts realized, well, it warned us that we had no content. Like we had nothing. well, like, duh, we're starting out new. Of course we don't.
What did you expect us to have?
What did you expect? Yeah. And so this is a first for us. And we're absolutely new to this whole platform. We're excited to join and just see what happens. We feel like there are people out there who need to know that it's okay to be different. It's okay to be misunderstood. It's okay to be walking through trials in life. I mean, it's what it is. And there's such a stigma around negativities in our life. We just want to bring, I think, some positive to that. Would you agree?
I think so.
Yeah.
So then we got to thinking about content. Like, what do we want this channel to be? We weren't really sure, but we've been meeting, like she said, on Facebook and talking about different things with our friends. And we thought we'd share some of that with you. But interesting enough that it asked us what our content was, because we had just talked about content within our lives. And what are we full of? What are we tired of? What are we walking jar in a video that we did on Facebook Live? And we thought we'd kind of recap real quick. Some of you that will join have already seen it. And so we're just going to recap in this with this little jar right here. It's clear, so it's kind of hard to see.
It is clear.
Better? There we go. It's backward.
It is backward.
We're new. You work this, okay?
And please, yes. And so, are we content with our content? So we kind of want to give you a little bit of fullness behind that. Those of you who are joining for the first time, and
well, because really we want you to be content with the content that we present, but we also understand that this isn't for everyone. But in our personal lives, we ask ourselves that, like, am I content with what my life is like right now? I mean, I think all of us understandably want better for ourselves. Are we content with where we're at right now? Could we do better? what do we want to let go of and add more of. So
Right. No, I completely agree with that. So going back to the jar, and we do have some notes off to the side. So we're going to streamline this as we go along. So just bear with us. But we want to kind of fill the contents of this jar because this is going to represent our life. Okay. And you've probably seen many other displays of this in
Yes.
different means. It's used in the financial
we're not
industry.
new.
We're not new.
This isn't something we've created. We've seen it in many different aspects, like she's saying. So,
Correct. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to talk through some of the things that we feel like we definitely are dealing with in our life and some of the content that we have. And then of course, some other things that you guys might be dealing with.
Right.
So Kimberly, why don't you take it away? What's something that we might have in our life that, I mean, it has to be there, or
it has to be there.
Yeah. Let's look at things that have to be in our life.
Okay. I have to, I had to eat before I came.
Right.
Okay. This is an afternoon. So I had to cook dinner. So
put your little food in there.
Cook dinner.
All right. So she cooked dinner. So, I have to have a vehicle to take my son to school and back. And of course, to travel sometimes for work and just visit with family and friends that are in different states. And so, these are really cute little representations. You can't see them, but they're little bitty car erasers. And so I'm just going to have to throw a car in there because I mean, it is a necessity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I teach, and so it's necessary that I do lesson plans. And so those go in there.
Yeah. And so let's see. I do have a job. It is necessary. I like my job. I love my job actually. And I love the people that I work with. So I'm just going to put in a few things here because, we've got assignments throughout the day and tasks and communication internally with work and, just some assorted work items. So we're just kind of getting some content in there. And what else?
Well, they don't really know us that well.
They don't.
Some of y'all are new to this. And so we just want to share with you that a little bit about ourselves too. So I am a teacher, but I also am a self-proclaimed homesteader and I love all the animals. And so I'm going to grab as many that will fit in my hand because that's still not enough. How many chickens I have.
So, she is the chicken whisperer, ladies and gentlemen.
I am.
She loves it.
But I have to feed them and water them, and there's so many of them.
And how about your goat?
Oh, yeah. And the goat keeps getting out of the fence and stressing me out. So I'm going to throw some fence posts in there. Yeah. Got to fix that.
Well, and I'm not a homesteader. Okay. But I love to love on people.
She does.
I really do. I can't help myself. I think many of you probably have felt that way too. Like when you see somebody that needs a little pick me up, you're going to give them a pick me up.
Yeah.
And it's not all the time. I mean, I do it when I can and when I feel like I'm led to do that. So, I'm just going to be thinking about others for just a minute. And I'm going to throw all that in there because it might be a gift. It might be a phone call. It might be time. Yeah. Like we're spending time today together. It could be, I don't know, run a cupcake over or pick up a little mug or something. It's just something that I like to
thoughtful. You see this cute cup? Oh, I flipped everything around. It's just a cute little cup. It's got a chicken on it. It says, "I lose my mind. My mind does wander. Sometimes it walks off completely." And you'll notice that about me. So, I like that, Lindsay. You are very thoughtful. I'm going to say, though, I woke up this morning and I've been dealing with some tummy stuff. Ulcers. I don't know if any of y'all have ever had those. They're not fun. So I immediately woke up and had some tummy issues, and that caused anxiety and stress because I felt like I was finally getting over that. So those go in there too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm thinking that you're not hearing the dogs bark incessantly. So that is our hope. And if you do, I'm just going to go ahead and put in a plug.
Go ahead and put in some
I'm going to go ahead and put in some stress factors from those dogs because they are driving me bananas.
I don't even notice them, but they stress her out.
They do stress me out just simply because it's just like, would you stop barking? I've told you it's okay. The people that are here, we know them very well. So can you just please quit barking?
Right.
But to that point with the dogs, we've got them barking. They're excited. They've got, family is home now from church. And so they're very excited about all of this. And well, we have a puppy and good old Cletus, man, he likes to chew and he likes to pee in the floor and he likes to poop in the floor too. And we're working through all of those things. He's just a baby, but it drives me insane.
Well, and so her husband so sweetly brought my kids back with him to her house,
Mhm.
which means I remember that my son,
Mhm.
teenager, I have 2 teenagers and a younger one, but my son is really worried about the test that he has, and it's a big deal for him, but even bigger deal for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Like,
we do wear the burdens of our
yeah.
kids. I mean, we're constantly hoping that they make the right
Mhm.
choices and they do the right things. And, you know, the point is, I was just telling Kimberly earlier, like, we're all individuals, even our kids. And so it's
Yeah.
very hard to sit back, like take that back seat and be like, oh, they actually have an
Mhm.
opinion. I need to step back and listen.
And he was very vocal about his opinion today, that we have to get home early tonight because he has to study. And so I don't know if you know what it's like. Can I throw in some?
Oh,
like,
please. We're gonna keep throwing it
anxiety
in.
in that?
Absolutely.
But I love him so much, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm
All the
excited to get to go to
love.
his track meet this week. And speaking of, it seems like we often have events for our kids, and those are
Yes.
like a delight in my
Yes.
life. I love watching my babies do what they
Mhm.
love, and I know Lynn's loves that too. So
Yes, I do. I would say, several adopted children that
yes.
I try to be there when I can, when time affords me the opportunity to do that. Um, but so yeah, like beta club conventions. So, you know, we've
Yeah.
got that, and we've got field trips. And well, now we're going to start getting into some serious stuff. I'm just going to take a look here in all of my content, Kimberly, because what about finances?
Oh,
So sometimes they're good. Sorry, Jesus. And sometimes they're not so good. Sometimes there's bills and debt. And
let me throw one in there because I forgot. I have a driveway that had to be done because there were potholes.
oh, let me
That
help
about
you
went
out there.
Thank you. But there's some debt behind that. I should
Uh-huh.
have paid cash. I'm making
Yeah.
note that then I feel a little bit of like regret. Can I put regret in there?
Oh, regret.
Like I regret that I did it without paying cash.
And you know, then there's those times like you've got that, right? So,
Mhm.
and we all have things like that. But then there's those times where you're like, I really shouldn't have spent that.
Yep.
And then you're angry because you don't have the money that you need. And
So do you charge it?
Do I target?
Do you charge it?
Oh, do I charge it? Yeah, I do sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah, let me just put a long credit card in there for that one.
Yep.
I do sometimes, yes. I like you am trying very hard to
Mhm.
prioritize
Yeah.
my finances and get some things back in line. And but you know, like you've got a mortgage payment or a rent, you know, that you've got to pay. And
then when you realize you didn't meet your goal, do you feel like a failure?
Yeah. Oh golly, unworthy. Right in there. Let's do that. And then what are some other things? Doubt. Let's talk about that for a minute. Or even greed. Like if we start really wanting something and we just go on a spending spree, woo, and we're greedy and we are selfish. And
oh, but then I have a bunch of cute stuff I like to buy for my kids in my class.
Yeah. Yeah.
Starburst and Skittles are incentives, not bribery. Incentives.
And stickers and
yes,
erasers are incentives. But how about like when we start comparing our lives to other people? Like I really wish I had what Kimberly had. And I'm really upset that
Lindsay knows how to work technology.
She's really patient with kids. And I am too, actually. But even still, you know, that's something that it might be a comparison. Or, you know, she has gone to college and I have not. And I tried it and I failed miserably. And that's okay.
Did not finish all the way. Failure.
And then there's those things when all this starts really piling up. Then you know, out of nowhere, maybe you experience a trauma in your life and it creates depression and anxiety.
And then you're anxious about taking the medicine for anxiety.
Everything. Oh yeah, the medicine. Oh my goodness. I'm
Because
not
it's a stigma. Now people are judging me.
right.
Now I
Oh
feel
gosh. Everyone knows. Everyone stares. They don't like me anymore.
if they knew I had to take something for stress or anxiety, would they hire me? Would
mm,
they fire me? Would my friends look at me differently?
how about the social media? I mean, we're using that tonight. Okay, we really are, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's great for
Yeah,
some aspects.
absolutely.
Like if you use it correctly, absolutely. But what if you have an addiction to it? Like, and you're constantly scrolling and your family is like, where's mom or where's dad? And
Or I posted that 3 days ago and she
And-
posted it 5 minutes ago and has 100 more likes than me. Back to comparison.
Back to comparison.
Is that what's known? Like,
or I'm gonna just post this because I know it's gonna get attention, and then it doesn't get attention.
Or I'm going to spend the time on social media and I'm going to look up all the bad that's happening in the world.
You know,
Now I'm anxious again because there's wars going on. And there's
the news, like all the storms.
What's happening in your community page?
Yes. Yes.
I can't believe they said that.
Or how about when you're sitting there watching TV and you have 3,000 ads about all the medication that you can take, and you're guaranteed that you've got every single one of those ailments at some point in your life.
Yeah, and speaking of sitting and watching TV, I'm bored because I'm not doing really what I really want to do because I just don't have the energy to do it. My guilty pleasure, Cheez-Its. I've eaten an entire box of Cheez-Its.
All right. Well, I'm going to be on the chips. Okay. So I love chips and I've done really good though. I want you to know I have not had a chip in 2 weeks. I mean,
that's very good.
Actually, I'm telling a story. I did forget I had some homemade chips, but they weren't,
That seems different.
They weren't processed. Okay. So how about, I participated and listened. Thank you. And listened to gossip and stirred the pot of dissension among my friends or even family.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
I feel bad because I ate the box of Cheez-Its. And so tomorrow morning I'm gonna choose to eat garbage so that I'm a failure and I'm not gonna be able to get my life in
you
order.
already ate the bad stuff. You can really just keep going in that direction.
I've always been overweight my whole life. Well, I mean, what's the point?
What's the point? Don't even try. And and then how about this one's gonna kind of hit a little different, I think, but how about like
wait, Jesus, I need Jesus. I need Jesus in this moment.
Oh,
Lindsay.
that's good. That's good.
I do. I need Jesus in this moment because the reality is I'm so overwhelmed at this point that I'm crying. I'm defeated.
Fetal position in the corner.
Yeah.
I got you.
So I'm going to call on Jesus.
And
so I've got a little bit of Jesus, a little bit of time because I got to hurry off to work. So I'm going to put Jesus in there.
Yeah. And I forgot to get gas on my way to school this morning and I'm going to be late. And then how about, I watched a movie I really had no business watching and I immediately felt like, oh, I should not have watched that. And now I'm thinking about things I shouldn't think about, like, but now I'm comparing a facade. So yummy and delicious. And I think it's going to be good for me, but it ain't.
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't, but
not.
But now at this point, are you done with your contents? She had a lot more than I did apparently, but that's okay.
I am, but the reality is like I'm empty.
Yeah. And so let's just go ahead and do that too, because I feel pretty empty too. Like I've got all of this and I did need Jesus. Like
right. But the thing is, a lot of the stuff that I'm pulling from is and I'm putting in my life. Like there's so much more that I want to put in there, but I'm running out of space because just like in my head, sometimes I run out of space. I am replaying all the junk that I've put in and I don't.
And it's pure chaos. It's pure mental chaos.
Like there's nothing orderly about this. Nothing. If this was a
Mhm.
bucket in my classroom, I might explode. It needs to be organized in its spaces.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel, completely overwhelmed? Like life is just a collection of responsibilities. There's not really any fun time thrown in there. And like, are you overflowing with just garbage?
Yes, Lindsay. And I feel like there's this stuff I want to do. I don't have time for it now. Like I have no more
Mhm.
space in my jar. Like I just want to
Mhm.
go home and lay in a hammock
Mhm.
or ride with the windows down.
Read a book. I mean,
Mm,
how about let's not even look at the computer screen. Let's just read a
yeah.
book, you
Or go
know?
soak in the bath.
Ooh, that's
Um,
good.
yeah, no interruptions. I got 3 kids, so it'd be great to go have a quiet moment.
Yeah, it'd be great to fit in my tub, but I mean, I laugh about it. It is what it is. You
Yeah,
have a huge soaker tub. I
I
have
do.
like this little bitty prefab thing, and
We could fit in there together. I mean, it's that like it's a big tub.
her tub is huge.
And the reason I bought it was because of said big tub, because I love
Right,
a bubble
right.
bath and I'm tired of getting stuck to the side of my tub.
Well,
Okay.
hey, so speaking of that, just for a little funny here, because I know it's getting, a little like, where are they going with this? But I make noises when I try to get out of my bath water
Mm.
because I've created a suction.
Suction cup. Oh, see, this is being real.
This is being
Linz,
real,
this
and
is what we long for friends.
it's what we do. Like, I don't care.
Because
Y'all can judge me. You can throw some stuff out
it's
there at
here.
me. I don't care.
Well, it's because Lindsay, it's here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the reality is like we need somebody to talk about things with. We
Mhm.
need somebody to laugh about.
Mm.
So, Lindsay, I'm going to ask you, are you content with the content?
Mm. No, I'm not. And I don't think that I really realized it until we were having this conversation and I started walking through some depression and anxiety lately that I've never walked through
Mhm.
before.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful for my resource here. And I've got other resources
Mhm.
too who've walked through this and have been able to say, hey, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I got rattled though. But it's because all of this was overwhelming me. And I just started spiraling. I'm like, what is this? So no, I'm not content with the content of my life. I think that there's got to be a better way, Kimberly.
Mhm.
There's got to be a better way.
So, what do we do?
Well, I mean, we have obligations, right? Those
Yeah.
things we can't
Mhm.
remove from
Yep.
from our lives. We have obligations and responsibilities, but all of that extra that brings like extraordinary chaos to our lives that
Mhm.
we've chosen for whatever reason, for like, oh my gosh, I've got to do this because I feel like I owe them, or um this will make them like me, and that pressure, or whatever it is, or to fill a gap of loneliness, or whatever those things are that I've chosen to take on that have actually resulted in this whirlwind of chaos.
Because we do have a choice
Yeah,
in
we
our life.
do. We really do.
And I
Mhm.
chose
We
to
do.
put the stressors in there.
Mhm.
And sometimes the stressors happen to us. You can't help
Mm.
loss or tragedy
Right.
or a car wreck or bad news or sickness.
Mhm.
You don't get to choose that. Sometimes things happen to us.
Mhm.
But when those things do happen to us, are we calling on Jesus? For us, like,
I mean, I put a little bit of Jesus in there.
oh,
You
I
did
put a little
too.
Jesus in there too. I mean, I did. He's in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Like, he's in
but
here.
I certainly can't see him, and I'm not feeling him if I'm being honest, but I mean,
Okay.
that's just what it is, but
So, but what happens is this jar is a large jar, and
Mhm.
the contents in it
Mm.
are not at the brim of overflowing yet. Because we could put the other buckets we have in there, but for the sake of time, the reality is eventually you
Mm.
start shoving stuff in here, and it no longer like there's no longer room. So
Mhm.
you're going to try to put something in there, and either something else has got to come out, or you don't get to put that in.
That's right.
And so what's overflowing? Like in this moment, like what's going to fall out? What is people going to see in the reflection of our life? What's it going to be?
Mhm.
Are they going to see the stress when we get to work and we explode on our coworker? Or are they going to see
Well, then our demeanor is just different, that we're not
yeah.
that person that we typically are, I'm typically very optimistic and joyful, and
Mhm.
my people that know me, they know when there's something up, even just by the tone of my voice. They don't even have to see me. They're like, "Okay, what's on your
Oh,
mind?"
Yeah.
You know?
That made me think, what if you don't know what the real you is?
Ooh, that's deep.
Because
That's not even in the notes,
that's
folks.
not
I'm
in
just
our
saying.
notes. But what if we don't even know the true us
Mm.
because we're so
Consumed.
consumed with what's
Mhm.
either been done to us or what we've chosen.
Unforgiveness, man.
It's bad. And so we come to that point where it's like, I don't know, for Lindsay and I, we need a
Mhm.
savior, and we
Mhm.
put a little Jesus in there. And we
Mhm.
realize that not everyone follows Christ, and not everyone,
Sure.
not everybody does. And that's okay. If
That's okay.
we're not here to judge or condemn or anything. We're just here simply to say,
We've had life without him,
yeah,
and we've had life with him. And there is a verse in the Bible that says, "Taste and see that the Lord is good."
mhm,
You'll have to Google it because I don't have it written in my notes, but it's there. I promise.
yeah,
And I think for us, I'm not going to speak for you, but for me, once I had a moment with the Lord, it changed everything.
yeah,
And I've fumbled my way up to this point in my life, but He has never once let me go. And He's good.
he's good.
He's good. And so we all, including Kimberly and myself, get overwhelmed with content,
Mhm.
poor content from things that we've listened to, things that we've seen, things that we've eaten,
Even things,
everything.
some of the things that are in our jar will look different than your jar because
Mhm.
based on circumstances. Some of you might not have kids. Some of you may not have a
Right.
job right now. Some of you may be battling addiction to drugs, addiction to alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, your life is your life. And so we're here to share with you a little bit about ours, but hope that
Mhm.
you can relate at the same time. And we chose, even in what we would say is our walk with Christ,
Yeah.
we feel a closeness to him. But even in our chaos of a day, we can throw a little bit of Jesus in there. And before we realize it, people are seeing us. And the
Mhm.
reality is we're just sinners. We're broken. We're
A hot
human, a hot
mess.
mess like everybody else in this whole
Mhm.
world, trying to be like
Yes.
they're something. Because I got my wrinkles. I've earned these.
I am
Um,
peeling so bad right now.
yeah,
It's a good thing you can't see it because I failed to put on sunscreen, folks. I'm failure
yeah.
there. Yeah.
So we're here to
So,
say that what we found is we can't continue. We can continue with this, but I'm
mhm.
not content with it anymore.
Well, no, and you get spent
Yeah,
fast. Like you get
yeah.
exhausted, you're running on fumes, your health starts to suffer,
Mhm.
you get colds or sickness all the time. You just run down
Yeah.
and you're at your limit, you're at your max. The tank is empty, even though it's quite full.
But your joy, I would say,
Yes.
your true, like, is gone, because the
Hmm.
reality is day to look like,
Yeah.
but sometimes we choose it and sometimes we don't. But most of the time we choose what our day looks like. So what do we do, Lindsay?
Well, I think we got to wash our jar. I'm
Okay.
going to be honest. I mean, for all intents and purposes, this is a jar. So we got to clean it out and start over as far as I'm concerned. What do you think?
I think so. Scripture tells us in Psalm 51, 10 through 19,
Hmm.
create in me a pure heart, O Lord, a steadfast spirit within me. And
Hmm.
it may be not 10 through 19, but it's in Psalm 51. I may be reading my notes wrong because it's far away.
That's all right. That's all right. No, I think 51, 10 through 19. You got it.
Is that it?
You got it.
Okay. Well, it says create in me a pure heart. And so in order to do that, we do need to dump the jar.
So I'm just gonna take care of that right here
Okay.
for time purposes and saving. And gosh, that's a lot of junk right there
It's a
in my
lot of junk.
lap.
It's
It's
a
a
lot of
lot in
junk.
my lap. But our jar is clean.
Yep. Empty,
It's
clean.
empty. I mean,
It's a new day. Here's the
it's a
other
new
part.
day.
Um, every day is a new day. In
Hmm.
fact, even we have a moment by moment, we can choose new. A lot of
Hmm.
times we say, hey, I'll start that diet on Monday, or I promise I
Yeah.
will get it all done and taken care of next week. This week I've just got too much going on. I'll handle it next week.
Hmm.
So really moment by moment, but we'll serve it as it's a new day.
A new day.
Tomorrow is a new morning, when we
New
wake up. And
mercies,
so
new morning, and everything. And so, I mean, at this point, like we're starting fresh.
yeah.
All right. And we got to guard our jar.
Well, what does it mean to guard something?
Well, it's a defensive posture. I mean, like you got to protect it. You got to make sure that ain't nothing getting in there unless you truly decided it's needed.
Like a football player, when like, and
Right.
so their defensive line, right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So you can reference guarding your heart in 23, but it is a posture, and it's also like a surrender, because we were talking about linemen being on their knees. They're
Yeah.
not touching the ground per se, but you get the general idea. They're squatted.
Yeah.
They're ready. Like they are not going to let anything get through. And so we've got to guard it now. And so with all of that said, we have to also remember that we're not going to just it's not going to be perfect.
Well, so guarding is like a constant watch.
Yeah.
There's like, think about in your home, like,
Mhm.
a lot of people, especially these days, goodness gracious, have cameras on the outside of their home,
Oh,
keeping
yeah.
watch. You get a ding on your phone and you're like, intruders at my house, and you make that
Mhm.
call. So it's a quick response guard. Vigilance, like being alert and vigilant, and is vigilant.
Vigilant. You got it.
That sounded weird. Okay.
The-
ABC 1, 2, 3. But preparedness, like being
Right.
prepared for the things that are ahead. And so we have to. So how do we do this? Like, okay, it's brand new morning. What do I need to do?
Well, okay, so people are going to come at you.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's just the course of your day,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it could be a good, it could be a negative, but the thing is like you have to, and your mind, man, your mind will run nuts on
Yeah.
you. You have to stop, pause, and take those thoughts captive.
Yeah. Yeah.
You really do. You have to take it captive, folks, because if you don't, you're going to spiral. You're going to be out of control. And before you know it, everything that you worked so hard to really start fresh with, it's all back in the jar.
So I think for you and I both, our goal is to start our day with Christ.
Yeah.
And put him first. And
Yes.
so we sprinkled Jesus in a little bit here and there,
Yeah.
prayed for our food. We thanked him for the sun that was shining in the car. And none of those are bad things. I don't want you like, if you can worship the Lord, he says, come before him and worship him, like with gladness and with song. And so that's what I want to put in my jar. Now, if you don't know the Lord, I encourage you to reach out to us and ask. We'd be glad to share with
Oh,
you.
yeah. We'll tell you how.
We'll tell you how he's changed our life.
How he's changed our lives and how we continue to fumble through it daily. But
Yeah.
we know that we're covered by grace.
And so, Lindsay, like, I want to put Jesus in this jar.
I think we should first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if I put him first, oh no, though, Lindsay, he's very heavy. Okay.
He's a big Jesus.
Very big.
This was my grandmother's Jesus. Very special.
So he's in the jar.
Mm-hmm.
But he's overflowing. But Lindsay, he's taking up a lot of space in my jar.
Yeah, he is. He certainly is.
But do you know, Lindsay, like, I don't have to put worry or doubt or anxiety or fear or frustration or loneliness, isolation, bitterness, jealousy, anger.
Well, what happens is when we have him prioritized as first, he gives us the peace that surpasses all understanding.
Yeah.
Like he truly provides that. And you can find that in Philippians 4:7. So when we are focused on him and not all of the content in our life, those things just really don't carry the weight that they would if we didn't prioritize the Lord.
But why?
Because it's not our focus anymore.
It isn't our focus, because we know that we can come before him and we could submit our worries and our doubts and our fears to him. And because of the blood of Jesus, it's covered. So
it is so covered.
Great minds alike.
I mean,
but really though, we don't have to put those things in there because it's all encompassed in him. He takes the burden away. He yoking with him, like, our burdens are removed. And so I can't help but think I'm going to choose to put him in. And then I can also trust that though he seems big in the jars, though he's taking hold, because if we took all those cubes that meant something and we put them here, he's covering it. And there's some space left in our day. But
Mhm.
because he's there, I don't have to put all that extra stuff in there.
Right, right.
And so now, like you said, guard our heart, guard our temple, our body is the temple of the Lord. And so guarding this temple, what am I going to
Mhm.
put in there? Well, we have that choice, Lindsay. So
Yeah.
um
It's great
it
because
is.
and it's not easy. I think the best way to describe it, I mean, we've heard it ourselves too, Kimberly, is that um just like a baby, just like you would walk a baby from truly sitting up right and standing them on their feet and walking, and then you practice this, and then before you know it they're pulling up on their own, and then they're walking along the furniture, and they have a lot of bruises because they fall down and you might not be able to catch them, or their little knees are all bruised up
Mhm.
because they're falling. Like, that's exactly what it's like to be a Christian when you start out. Like, you're going to fall, you're going to bump your knees, but the beauty of it is even though I have fallen, my father comes along and he picks me up and
Mhm.
he's like, "Hey, it's going to be okay. I'm still here. Like, I haven't gone
You
anywhere."
mean he says, "Hey, Lindsay, you you didn't share with that person I told you to share with
Yeah,
yesterday, or you
yeah,
didn't reach out to that person, or you were being lazy in your work and now you're overwhelmed today, and
yeah.
today's an important day, but
Even though,
you mean to tell me that you still have an empty jar because of him?"
yeah,
And so then you can choose to set your mind on things above, and you can
hmm,
submit the email and your own time.
yeah. And I mean, exactly that, because like I'm not going to walk right. Like, I'm not going to get it right the first
Mm,
time.
mm,
Nobody's going to get it right the first time, second, third, or fourth time. Honestly, like, we are learning every single day on all the things that we need to do. But
mm,
yes, when we prioritize him over our lives, like, I feel like every issue that we have is encapsulated by him. But there here is again another choice,
mhm.
because we have to choose to allow him to cover that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it literally looks like, okay, Lord, I am terrified to go into this meeting because my mind is telling me it's about all of this negative, but I trust you because you've placed me here and I just need your help getting through this. And there's still anxiety there,
Yeah.
but he sets that expectation of, I'm still here with you.
Mhm,
And you do feel that
mhm,
peace. You still have to step forward in faith. And that's hard
mhm.
sometimes, but he still covers me.
And I think that sometimes we avoid those things,
Mhm.
avoiding the meeting or avoiding the email because
Oh,
we
doing
don't
the
have
hard things.
confidence.
Yeah.
So when I don't avoid the email and I don't avoid the meeting because I have peace of mind with Christ, I have confidence. And I'm putting in confidence today,
Mhm.
Lindsay.
I agree with that. And how that, I mean, boldness, just like that.
Yeah.
That's confidence and boldness. And we're stepping forward. And how about we're putting in trust?
Yeah.
Like, we're trusting that he's got
So
us.
now I'm going to trust those around me a little bit more because,
Yeah.
and trust is good. I'm going to trust them because I know I can trust my Father.
Right. And trust is good, but we still have to guard our hearts and
Mhm.
trust.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, we've all been hurt by something. I'm sure you all have too. Like, it's I'm just going to be
How
really
about faith?
transparent. How about faith? But like, I've dealt with addiction in my life
Mhm.
with a family member, and for a long time before I could see their fruit, before I could see that they were truly beyond the addiction, that they had made it through,
Mhm.
I didn't trust. But he is who added that to me, and
Mhm.
it enhanced my life and
Yeah.
that relationship. How about restoration?
That's good.
How about that? He can do it. He can absolutely, he has done it.
Yeah.
He's done it.
And because that relationship has been restored, I'm now going to choose to go hang out with them and have a barbecue and spend
Yeah.
quality time
Yeah.
together. And that's going to bring me some joy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just joy and, peace
Hmm.
and wisdom. Like, he will give you wisdom if you ask. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter if you are like following him or not. If you ask for wisdom, he's going to give you that wisdom. And with
Hmm.
wisdom comes peace.
Yeah.
Like, it's just this full circle of goodness. Um,
Well, I think, Lindsay, like, sometimes when we're talking about guarding this jar,
Mm,
we take the word no and it has such a negative connotation. Like everyone feels like,
yeah.
oh, I don't want to be told no, or oh, I don't want to tell myself no. It's that
Mhm.
instant gratification in an Instagram world or Insta world. We never want to hear the word no. But I'm gonna say no to that event
Mhm.
because I want to take instead this one. I'm going to say no to the event because instead I want to spend some family time together
Yeah.
with my family this weekend. And so I'm going to put no in here and I'm going to feel peace about it because
Mm.
I'm adding to what I need right now. But next weekend, I'm going to be full because I've had my family time. And so then I'm going to go spend time with that person too.
Right. Well, you prioritize that really well, Kimberly.
Yeah. Well, not always, but I'm
Well,
choosing it.
sure, you are choosing it. That's the
It's
difference.
hard to say no.
That is the difference.
But I had confidence from the beginning because I can trust in Jesus.
Yes. And yes. And, what is a way that we can guard our hearts, guard our jars? What does that look like?
Um, I think really like when I think of a guard, I think of like, I don't know why. I think of like a lock, something locked down. And I think about guarding our home. That we lock our doors, not guard that. And so one in there by that door and we people in that we want in, that we feel, safe with, like you were saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, how would you guard your jar?
Well, I mean, I can certainly reference the armor of God here
Mhm.
in this. And so we've got the helmet,
Yeah.
the breastplate, the belt,
Shield of faith.
shoes, shield of
Shoes.
faith, sword, which is
Mhm.
the word of God. And,
Is that
that's,
Ephesians?
yes, Ephesians
Ephesians
6,
6?
10 through 18.
Okay.
And so one of the interesting things that my son was telling me this week, we were talking about the armor of God, and it just, he just lays things out for us.
Mhm.
God does. But what he was saying was, that belt, Mom, the belt of truth. He said that's really important. He said because when you think about what a belt does in life, like it keeps your pants on,
Mhm.
it keeps your armor together.
Mhm.
Like if you didn't have the belt of truth, it's all coming undone.
It is.
So that's really important when you think about
Interesting
that.
you say truth because we live
Mm.
in a world where nobody knows the truth. What's true? Who said
Truth.
truth? Who said the
Mhm.
right thing? Like who's right here?
What's right? What's wrong? Who said this? Who said that? I mean, we've got AI in the world now, and it's
it's
scary.
different. It's just different.
It
We don't know
is.
how to approach it. And so I think in
Mm.
that I could choose to be stressed, like I said earlier, and watch Facebook reels and what's going on in the world. And oh gosh, what
Mhm.
is the world coming to an end? Are people going crazy? Is who shot who in the neighborhood? All the things. Where'd the police chase come from? All the stuff.
Right.
But there's just something to be said about okay, rabbit on the train, rabbit, squirrel, chicken. What does this cup say again?
Her mind
Sometimes my
wandered right
mind walks
off.
off completely. What was I saying?
That's okay. That's okay.
Oh goodness gracious, grannies!
Well,
It'll
we're
come back.
talking about armor and the belt.
Yeah.
So, it does hold our underpants up and it also keeps the armor of God on.
And that helmet to keep
The
that brain
helmet.
together. I don't know what
Yes.
I was saying.
Well, that's
Lost
okay
it.
because I mean, truthfully, like it's okay.
Yeah, I mean it is.
We're not perfect. And we didn't really rehearse any of this, which was the
No.
better part about it. We've got notes that we're kind of, looking at every now and again, but
Yeah.
we honestly, this is just completely raw and real. But one of the things I did notice in our notes was like a way for us to guard is like a neighborhood watch. Like
Mhm.
we're watching out, and this is the accountability portion of what we like to refer to in our sisters holding each other accountable. Like we want to be transparent, we want to be
Yeah.
real, we want to be raw, but the truth is, it takes a village, is what they say. Well,
Yeah.
it does take a village. It takes making sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who are walking in like-mindedness. Like they're going to walk with you. They want you to make good choices. Those good people or walk, and that they're there for the dirty days too. Like, it ain't always pretty, folks.
No.
And we've got to have those people who are going to be real, truthful, and honest with us, that will uplift us, and they'll call it out. Hey, you're doing something wrong right now. You're being extra.
Yeah.
But I love you, and I want to be here for you. And so I think it's important. I think you actually referenced like having a bad strawberry in a
Yes.
container.
Yes. I humbly confess that I am lazy.
Yeah.
Not lazy. I mean, I got farm animals. I keep
Not
going.
lazy,
Not
but
lazy's not the right word.
no.
I hate shopping. How about that? And that's the truth. I was talking about truth. That just hit me. What I was talking about a minute ago, where my brain went wandering, it was about truth and about identity and what's true and what's not true. I'll get back there. I digress. Maybe later. I don't know. Must not have been important. Anyway, but I don't say lazy, but I hate shopping. And so a lot of times I will do Walmart pickup and or grocery delivery, whatever. And they just don't pick fruit. I don't
They don't pick the fruit.
I don't know who is.
If you're a Walmart shopper and you're watching this, can you please pick us some nice fruit? And we would be
and it
grateful.
may just be at my local store.
It might just be.
I got a nice, delicious pack of strawberries. And then I went to pick the first one up, and connected was a ball of mold that was connected to every strawberry in the container. And while the strawberries looked great, probably why said Walmart employee picked them because they looked great. They were in the entire pack was completely ruined because
Of that
one bad
one
strawberry.
Bad strawberry.
And so I think that kind of is like what's in our jar with that, we choose to put those things in, and before we realize it, it's like the whole container is rotten. I'm doing like sourdough breads and stuff like that. And whatever smell your home is, or, whatever, your container takes the form and the shape and the smell and all the things of it. So anyway, it matters what you put in because it spoils some of the good stuff. So if for instance, in our life, we have all these great things, but we put in one bad decision, it can spoil the whole day. It can spoil the whole moment.
Absolutely. It can trickle down.
It can. And that's why it's important to guard it and to guard what we put in and to filter it and sift through and strain, if you will. And so how do we guard, like, for instance, when I'm making strawberry jellies, or especially blackberry jellies, because I don't like the little seeds because they're too crunchy. But when I make it, I have to put a filter over and strain out, like a cheesecloth, to strain out all those seeds and all the stuff you don't want. It's like a pulp, nasty, gross. My chickens love it.
Blob,
if you will. But it's not pleasant to the taste, and it's just not. I mean, some people like it. I don't like it. Anyway, and so we have to filter it. And I think that that's what we need to do, is put a filter on our life. So like set a guard on our life. Well, what about a filter? Like, what filter are we using? We know social media's got some like, hey, I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. I'm so old school.
It's all right. I'm with you.
But Lynn, there's just so many filters on things. And if we would filter really like our lives versus trying to put a fake filter over us and a fake facade and filter out the things that don't bring joy, things that are rotten, it would change. It would change a lot within us, and people would no longer see that junk that was spilling over before. And just like in our jar here, by the way, I don't know if you noticed this, but our jar, we could keep adding things, kids events, that bring us joy, or painting, drawing, hammocks, life, gardening. Oh yes, all the things. We could put that in here. But no matter what we put in here, Jesus is still overflowing out of the jar. That's what people see.
Well, how do we keep him overflowing? And then I think we'll probably wrap it up with this. But one of the things, too, going back to guard your heart, is we have to remember to practice the pause. You heard me say that a little bit earlier in the segment, and we really do. Like, we have to put that into practice. And that's with everything. It might be your health. And we are both walking through, like, taking control of the things that we eat.
Mhm.
we're choosing not to eat as many processed foods, and we're trying to do more things that are, homegrown or grilled or whatever that may be. But I could easily walk into my kitchen right now and just go to town on
Mhm.
whatever chips or anything like, hey, how about these? I've got Nerds right here. We were going to fill those up, but I didn't want to bust them out. So candy and junk food and all the things. But if I practiced the pause, if I was like, Lindsay, is this really important to you? Or is getting healthy important to you? It might
You
help
have to have a
me.
why too, Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's good.
you have to have a why. So, what is your why? And who is your why?
Mm,
Some of us, our why is our spouse or wanting to fit in a dress, and your motivations are just different. But
sure.
I think Lindsay and I both, our why is Jesus.
Yes.
The reason we do it is because of what He's done for us. For God so loved the world that He gave His one and only Son, that whoever believes in Him would not perish but have eternal life. Like, that is my why,
Mm-hmm.
because
John 3:16.
John 3:16. Thank you. She got my back.
I got you,
Um,
boo.
but it's because of what He's done for me. I can't help but want to do for others what He's done to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why it's so important for me. So a challenge is, what is like, are you content with the content of your life? And
Mm-hmm.
what are you putting in? Do you have a source of hope or joy or
Right.
peace? Because we have that choice to choose it every day. But
Mm-hmm.
do you have a choice? Like, is your choice right now? I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so stressed that I'm overeating, or I'm so stressed and overwhelmed that I'm drinking,
Yeah, I
or
was just gonna say that. Or,
maybe you've made some
um,
bad choices and you feel,
taking drugs or
yeah, and you feel like you're too far gone. You're not.
and look, I want to say this. We do not, and I'm going to speak for you in this instance because we've had this conversation. We have both had family members in our lives that have dealt with addiction, and we do not take that lightly.
No.
We've dealt with suicidal issues and tendencies in our families, and these are things that are in the past, and God has certainly redeemed those.
Yeah.
But we don't take it lightly. And so if you're watching this and you get all the way through it, I don't think that is by coincidence. We want to help. There may not be anything that we can do but get you a phone number,
Mhm.
but you're not alone. And you are loved. You are important. You are special. And I guarantee you that if you decide to move forward in a relationship with the Lord, it's going to be hard. The enemy's going to try to come after you. But I just need you to know that God already won the war. And we just have to make the choice to follow him every single day. And sometimes that looks like falling face first in the mud one day and
Mhm.
getting up and just putting on some new breeches and getting up and going. And
Yeah.
I'm pulling out my country now. But you're important. You're
Yeah.
important to God. You're important to us. And I
And you
don't,
may not have anybody. I
yeah,
mean, you may feel
yeah.
like you
You
don't
may
have
be,
anybody, and we may be states away or a country away from
yeah,
you. But we just want to let you know that you're not alone. And like Lindsay said, like, we can pray for you.
yeah.
We may not have the answers. We may not be able to come to your house and help you, but we will get on our face and pray for you, and know
Yes.
that the same God who started a work in us and redeemed us and called us to His called us to Him, He will do the same for you. And we believe in faith in that. And so we just want you to know you're not alone.
Yeah. And faith is, if you've ever seen a mustard seed, it's pretty tiny,
Yeah, it
but
is.
even just that amount of faith. And I know there are naysayers out there, and I know there are people that question how a good God could allow bad things to happen. And we can talk about that
Mhm.
all day long.
Yeah.
We are not afraid to address those things with you. What we do ask is that you're respectful, and that you truly just want to talk with us about
Yeah.
it. We want to talk to you about it. We want to see your points of view. We want to hear your points of view and be able to have an adult conversation.
Mhm.
No bashing, no judging, just strictly conversation. We want to hear,
Yeah.
because we're learning too every single day. But to your point, You content with the content of your life. And if you're not, might need to reprioritize. And there are ways to do that. And
Yep.
even if you don't believe in the Lord, there are still ways that you can prioritize your life and make the right choices.
So how can we all
Mhm.
do this? I mean, yeah, you can get a jar and you can sit here, but I'm a writer. I love writing.
Oh,
And
you mean
so
tangibly?
yeah,
Yeah,
like
okay.
how can
So
you
I
do it in
can't
your
play
own
with my
life?
toys anymore.
Okay, you can keep playing with your toys. I play with toys all day. So no, but you can get a piece of paper and I want you to
Mhm.
just kind of go through your day. Like, what does my day consist of?
Yeah.
Okay. And in
Make a
that
list.
day, the things that you don't want there, but seem
Mhm.
to actually just be there, if you don't want it there, like choose to mark a red highlighter or something over it.
Mhm.
And like she said, reprioritize.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're, if it brings you peace and if it is
Mm.
good, allow it in there, put it in there and choose not to put the junk in. And you can just watch how it changes. You may still tomorrow wake up and put in a bunch of
Yeah.
garbage,
You
in your
might.
day, and you made a bad choice and you're like, oh crap, I forgot I was even doing this. What was I thinking?
You said crap.
I did. It's okay. Don't say
I
that in kindergarten.
No, yes, don't.
No. So, but you may put the stuff in there and it may not be what you want, but it doesn't mean that it has to ruin it all.
Mhm.
There goes that repentance. At any point of your day,
Yeah.
you can dump that jar. You can say,
Start over.
Jesus, the name of Jesus. Like you can pour it all out and you can say, wait a minute, I did that wrong. But how though? I already said what I said. Say you're sorry.
Oh, that's doing the hard thing, folks. And let me just tell you, it is not easy. And
No.
you will absolutely probably feel warm from the tippy top of your head to
Yes.
the end of your toes, whether they're long or short. You will feel warmness over your body because it is outside of what you would normally do. We normally want to hide.
Yep.
But we're not called to hide, folks. Nope. And I think if we can start being honest with ourselves and with each other, it's going to make a huge change in your life. And the other thing you mentioned too, Kimberly, I just feel like we could talk forever with these folks. But the other thing is whether you're a believer or not, if you are angry with someone for hurting you, and we all get angry, if you are bitter, if you're holding on to anything that has happened to you in your past, you got to find a way to let that go.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you're hurting more than the person that hurt you. And it's not worth it to keep yourself tied in that slavery. Really.
Yeah,
it's like bitterness and slavery. It's not worth it to stay there and be miserable. Like you have life to live. And I think we need to heal first before we can even start to heal others or heal with others, in our relationship. So just remember that, if you're bitter, you got to let it go. You got to work through it, whatever it looks like. If it looks like going to a church, if it looks like going to a therapist, if it looks like going back and apologizing because maybe you're the reason it happened. Not saying that you are.
But you might be.
Get that warm, fuzzy feeling all over your body and just get out there and do it, because you're not only giving yourself permission to breathe, but you're changing the trajectory of a relationship.
Yeah. And what you don't know is it's contagious. Like all of this, it's that sisters holding each other accountable. It's not just about you. Nothing's ever meant to be just about you. Right. And that pride and that selfishness will lead you even further down in a pit of misery. But it's about others. And so in all of this, I just challenge all of us included, to just take a minute and look at the content of our lives and ask ourselves, are we content with the content? As we bring content to you and as we do this little journey together, I pray that we can have fun, open conversations when you join in live and we get to chatting. Know that, Lindsay, we don't mind hearing your
No,
questions. We don't
no.
mind hearing your opinions, you know.
The hard things are okay to talk about.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And we understand that there's gonna be people that's gonna come on here and you're gonna have some hate, and haters gonna hate, but we don't care.
Oh, it's gonna be okay.
Right. We're gonna be fine. But we are excited for this journey.
Yes.
This is just the beginning, so we hope that we can bring out, or maybe you have questions.
Mhm.
Feel free to, or
Yeah.
give us tips for something you want to talk about. Maybe like, whoa, who are these people that are talking about real things?
Right.
Let's talk.
And what is it that those YouTubers do? Like that bell or like that bell? We really
Like and
don't care, folks. You can like and subscribe. We would love for you to if you feel it's valuable. But we're not here to make money. We're just to be a source of well, accountability and sharing our hearts with you and things
Yep.
that we're dealing with, because we know you're not alone. We're not alone out
Right.
there. So
Yeah.
we'd love to have you. And if not, that's okay too.
Yep. It's been real.
It has been real.
It's a lot realer and deeper than I thought on our first episode.
It is.
Because
It
we're
really
usually
is.
goofy and kind of silly.
I don't know. I think it's the mic. Some of you will know this. Like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
know
But
what to
there's,
do
I don't know what to do with my
with my
hands. But and
is-
I'm always like, am I too close to the
Am I
microphone?
talking?
And can you understand me? Do you hear the words that
That
are coming out of my mouth?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We are fun and we do laugh a lot. And
Mhm.
tonight was serious, but I
Yes.
just had this moment. Maybe YouTube needs something serious.
Maybe and truthful.
Oh,
Who'd have thunk it?
but try not to laugh and different. What are those called? Not TikToks.
Oh, yeah,
and
the try not to
memes.
laugh
No, what are the
memes.
things that they watch? Shorts.
Shorts.
See, I think of shorts and I'm like, oh, it's almost summer. Let's wear some shorts.
We're old school.
I'm very old school. YouTube, who? Like,
Been
what are we doing?
scrolling.
No. We are. We're about to go.
Okay.
And
If we could just,
we have. But we
Very
and
excited.
join us next time as we air out dirty laundry.
Did you go there?
I did. Not yet, but we're going.
I need to go wash some laundry. So
Join
anyway,
us next time.
yeah.
It's been fun. If you like what you hear, again, like and subscribe just so that you can find us when we tune in again.
Put a message out there for us. We'll be
Yep.
watching and have a wonderful week.
Yep.
It'll be over soon.
Yes, it will.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye. We got to reach up there and turn that
I
off.
got it turned off. Hold up.
We don't have a stick long enough. No remote. Take care, people. And the content. Ta-da.